And he showed me some buildings, and I said, well, these are the numbers that I'm looking for. I want to have something that's going to be cash flowing and all of that. And he said, well, you can't. There's none of that. You can't find those. And he would show me buildings that to prove his point. Like it's human nature. And said, well, I told you that there's no apartment buildings that work that have these numbers. So he would show me the wrong apartment building. Eventually, I bothered him enough that he said, okay, why don't you look at these?
Before this episode begins, I wanted to let you guys know that the Started Somewhere apparel is officially live. In the description of this video, you'll see a link. It says Started Somewhere apparel. You can grab a hoodie, all colors, all sizes, t-shirts, long sleeves, and even coffee mugs. The hoodies are my favorite. They're super comfortable, true to size. They look good. They feel good. And if you do grab one, you'll be directly supporting me and you'll be supporting the show. So any money that I make from the apparel will go directly back into the show. And I'd really appreciate it if you do want to go that extra mile and show your appreciation for the content. You can do so by grabbing yourself a piece of clothing. Now, we're also live on Patreon. Okay, now I have plans here in the very near future to put exclusive content, exclusive only content on the Patreon. The Patreon is just $5 a month. It's also in the description. And if you do want to show your support and get access to that exclusive interview content, we have some amazing guests coming out in the near future. And I'm going to be recording some private segments exclusively for Patreon members. You can also subscribe and show your support that way. And the last thing, before we get into the episode, I've realized after looking over the analytics that we have a lot of people that watch these episodes. They tune in each and every single week, and they're not subscribed to the channel. Check down below right now. Are you subscribed? If you're not, please consider subscribing. It really helps us out. It helps me out. I have a goal of hitting 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year. Can you help me do that? If you can, I'd really appreciate it. Drop a comment. Let me know if you did subscribe. Hit that like button. And of course, enjoy today's episode. All right, Eric, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for inviting me, Ross.
Absolutely, brother. It's a pleasure to have you here. How's your day going so far, my man?
So far, so good. Start my day with some exercise, running on the beach and swimming in the ocean. You can't start your day any better ways than that.
Nice. So running on the beach, swimming in the ocean.
Yep.
Sounds like you live by a nice coastal area.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, a few blocks from the beach.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
Has that always been like one of your goals to live by the beach, or did you grow up
No,
by the
actually,
beach?
because I tell my family, I said I don't really like the beach, and I'm not a beach person, and all of that. And then, but here I am going at the beach like once and twice a day. It's like, and I seem to be talking about the beach all the time. I don't know why.
Yeah.
And we moved here like about 3 months ago, so it's also pretty new.
Right. To the LA area.
That's right.
Awesome, man. Awesome. How's it been over there with COVID? Are the beaches picking up and again
So
busier?
yeah, I mean, you stay safe. I mean, I wear masks and stuff like that for social distancing. And this is actually one of the reasons why I run at the beach early in the morning is because there's not as many people, and then I can keep my distance, and there's a breeze off the ocean, and so I feel pretty safe. Some of the restaurants, there's also more open areas. So I really appreciate kind of all the restaurants that are, putting extra effort and redefining their business and reshaping their business and changing how they serve customers. I mean, this is very challenging time for a lot of these businesses. So I eat out a lot to encourage them. So yeah, I mean, we're pretty lucky here in LA because there are, the weather is very nice during the day and in the evening. So it makes a lot of sense to, go out for dinner and lunch and all that. Pretty
Awesome,
like
bro.
that.
Awesome. So for you right now, what is it? 1 o'clock for you. I'm on the
That's right.
East
Yeah.
Coast. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you guys get. I like that West Coast time, man. Whenever I'm on the West
Uh-huh.
Coast, I feel like my day's longer. I don't know. Ah man, but so Eric, brother, for the people that are not familiar with you and your work, would you mind
Yeah.
to give us a brief overview of what you're all about?
Yeah. So for me, I started, I mean, I'm a real estate investor now, but I'm really an entrepreneur. I've tried all kinds of different businesses, independent consulting. I had a gourmet sauce company. We had a low carb grocery store. We had we had like wine bag from wine plastic wine bag to protect them when you're traveling and shipping. We had a number of businesses that we tried. But really, I mean, right now I'm back into real estate and so just growing like crazy and scaling things up. And my first really investment was really when I was 18 years old and I bought an 8 unit apartment building, no money down, and still cash flowing. So I had a vendor take back on or seller financing for the second as a second mortgage, and yeah, so it was pretty sweet. My parents were not too happy about that, but but at
Why is
least I
that?
was. Well, they felt like I was because I was still at university at the time, and then they felt that I was wasting my time doing that, and really their life is really living paycheck to paycheck. They haven't done anything else outside of that. And I knew from a very young age that this is not the life I wanted for myself. I wanted to do something different. I had seen a glimpse of these different worlds that people live in that are not 9 to 5. Uh, when I was kind of like in high school and I was looking at different types of investment in the stock market and all of that, how people did businesses. And that apartment building was really, for me, it was I had a mentor. I met a mentor through a friend of mine, and he was just a regular college teacher and, normal salary and all of that. But he had managed to build like a 36-unit apartment building. And so I thought that was pretty impressive. And he could just live off of that. He enjoyed teaching, so he kept teaching, but he didn't have to. So that changed your perspective a little bit about work, your
Mm,
work-life relationship when you say, well, yeah, I'm doing this because I love to work and teach kids, as opposed to I have to do this because I have to pay the bills. So he was really an inspiration, and really this is the first time where I had somebody, a mentor, that really showed me how to do that, how to do a real estate investment, how and earn money, earn a not quite a living yet, but earn money by not working 9 to 5. So that was really, for me, that was really a big revelation, I would say, that, hey, that I can do something by myself and then generate money, and I'm not working 9 to 5.
mm.
And that's been kind of what I've been working on all my life and trying different businesses.
Awesome, brother.
Yeah.
So in 2020,
Yeah.
what asset classes are you focused on buying?
So we have one business is the turnkey rental. So we basically buy distressed property, renovate them, rent them out, and then we sell them to investors who are looking for passive income and financial freedom. These are mainly like single family. They're all residential. So it could be single family duplex. Sometimes we have a triplex, but these are basically residential. And this is how we got started. And now we have the other asset class that we're in is multifamily. So we're in Midtown Memphis. We have like 5 apartment buildings in Midtown Memphis and about 100 units out there. So, and that's going very well.
Hmm. Good old Memphis, Tennessee.
Yeah.
I've never been out there, but I've heard some good things about the
You're
food.
gonna hear more and more about it. I mean, when we got started in Memphis, it was good, and now it's great. There's so much investment coming in. There's going to be a new conference center downtown. There's a new hotel downtown. and another hotel that's opening up midtown, very close to one of the buildings that we own, actually, in Overton Square. And yeah, I mean, the thing is booming. There's a lot of development, a lot of money coming in.
That's awesome, brother.
Yeah.
So, okay, so let's back up here a little bit. So you said
Yeah.
that the turnkey business that you're in, you're
Yeah.
finding distressed property, you're buying
Yeah.
them cash, right?
Yeah.
Are you using hard money? Are you using just cash out of pocket? How are you financing these
So
deals?
we're using cash. We're also working, doing a lot of joint ventures with other individuals
Okay.
to invest with us. We're also doing private money lending as well. So, and the reason is that some people have different they have different needs. They have different risk tolerance, and they have different needs. Some of them they don't really want to own the property. They want to have cash flow but low risk. So then we say, okay, well, you can do private money lending, and then we send you a check every month, and then that's your passive income. You
Right.
don't you and then so that's pretty good.
So
Other people are more active. They want to higher returns, and then they want to share the risk. Then we ship them towards the joint venture.
sure. So
Yeah,
you buy these properties, you renovate
yeah,
them, right? You bring
yeah,
them up to rent ready properties, and then you
yeah,
tenant occupy them.
yeah.
You season the tenant, right? The lease, and then you
Hmm.
sell that property
Yeah, we
off
don't
to
have to season them because we're just basically selling it directly to another investor, and then they
occupied or
just
unoccupied.
occupied. Yeah,
Occupied, right? So you
yeah.
can
So
sell
they're
it right
cash
away.
flowing from day one. That's right. Yeah,
Now, the people that are buying these properties, they're
yeah.
probably white collar professionals that want cash flow, that don't want to have to deal with
Yeah.
the gritty work,
Well,
the grind.
well, we were surprised. They come from all kinds of classes, all kinds of groups of people. We have some professionals, like you said, that they're looking for a couple of things. They're looking for retirement eventually, and that can include like medical professionals that are because if you're a dentist or something like that, when you stop working, money is not coming in, but the bills are still coming in.
Sure.
So, and they have a lot of cash, so it's good for them to invest. Other professional, technology professional, because I came from that background, so there's a lot of independent consultants that are also looking to invest in that and smooth out their income fluctuations. If you're an independent consultant, you have a gig, it's going great, you're making a lot of money, and then your contract ends because the project is over, and then you have 3 months with no income.
Sure.
So you
So
have
they're
to
buying
compensate.
these
So
to have
that's right.
some right, but these people
Smooth
don't
out.
want to do the gritty work, and that's where you come in, and you're the one
Exactly. But they
renovating.
don't have time, right? They don't have
Of
time to
course.
do that work and do that work out of state. They don't have the team. So it's much easier for them to
Right.
to scale up with us. And then,
I'm
they
s-
have $20,000. Here you go. I buy another Monopoly house.
I'm sure you're familiar with roof stock out
Oh
of
yeah.
Cali. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same that kind of concept, right?
It is. And also, but except for Roofstock, they don't own the property. For us, like these are our property that we have bought, we've renovated. So this is
Right.
everything's are to our standard quality control, and then we pass that on. So that's
Gotcha.
that's a little bit different with Roofstock. Roofstock is a great growth product. There's also Norada. That's another one too that is doing something similar. They're kind of brokering these houses, these rent-ready or turnkey properties with other,
Hmm.
from other people, from other investors. The other advantage when you buy from us too is that, and I didn't want to do a sales pitch here, but it's our property management. It's not our property management company, but it's the same third-party property management company that we use for our own properties. So we have, we know them, and then we just pass you on to that property management company. We don't get any referral fees or anything like that, but that company is vetted. If you buy from other turnkey provider that are not owning the property, then you don't know exactly what property management company you're going to get, and so you have to do some research on that. But for us, it's the property management company is vetted. We've worked with them for many years, And then if anything happened, I mean, we're not walking away. We're still there to fix, some issues if there
It's a
are any.
business in a box, brother.
Yeah, no, yeah.
That's
We try
it.
to make it as easy as possible, right? I mean, because the people we're dealing with, they're busy. They don't have time to deal with, and this is why they're buying turnkey. Otherwise, if they had a lot of time, I mean, they would do what we're doing ourselves. They would do a BRRRR strategy, or something like that, and they would invest in real estate.
Right.
The
Now,
interesting thing, the interesting thing though, is that there are some millennials also that are buying from us, and that I think part of the phenomenon there is that they can't really. A lot of them are living in, let's say, on the West Coast. Everything is very expensive, and then they just decide that, hey, I want to invest in real estate, but I can't afford something in LA, or I can't buy a house in San Francisco. So I'm just going to invest out of state in a turnkey rental and then make some money that way. So this is a new phenomenon that we're seeing on our side. So lots of millennials and younger individuals are buying these properties. So they're seeing the light a little bit earlier. And then I can imagine what it's going to be like when they get into like their 50s. So that's going to be very interesting to see.
entrepreneurship is the cool thing nowadays, Eric.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, yeah,
Everybody wants to be that self-made, work for yourself
yeah,
person nowadays.
yeah.
So I
But
see all over TikTok.
it takes a lot of hard work and to get to be successful and to find the
Does.
right formula. It takes a lot of tweaking and a lot of adjustment in that. You have to adapt, be adaptable.
Mm,
And I mean, you're seeing this right now with the coronavirus, which is unprecedented, obviously. But you can see a lot of these entrepreneurs, restaurant owners, bar owners, etc. Anybody that owns a business, they have to kind of rethink and adapt to the new challenges that are in front of us. So yeah, this is it's pretty dramatic example of that. But yeah, you have to constantly adapt to the environment, tweak your business to improve performance, maintain performance, or adjust to competition, etc.
of course.
You know.
So how many houses have you guys bought this year so far?
So
We're in
this year, I
September.
think we have sold, I think 60 houses. I think it's 63 is the number. 63 houses. We're on target to do 120 this year. So we did about 10 a month. So just bought 3 houses today. Uh,
That's a
and we're
good
buying two
day.
more tomorrow.
Nice, bro. And what are you guys using, like the traditional marketing methods, like the direct mail, cold calling, stuff like that to get leads?
So we actually do a lot. We do everything. I mean, when you're buying that many houses in a month, you have to do it all. I mean, you can't just go and wait for a real estate agent to bring you a house. So we do wholesaling. We buy from wholesaler. We do MLS search as soon as a house is on the MLS and it fits our criteria. We send an offer. Um, we also started actually earlier this year. We started a what's that called? A wholesaling company called Rocket Offer, and Rocket Offer OFFR.com, and then so yeah, that's a wholesaling company. So it's a brand new business that we started, and they're basically automating and creating all kinds of processes, automating as much as they can in terms of getting wholesaling. So they're doing a lot of deals right now and they're ramping it up. It took a long time to get the technology to work and all the integration and all of that, but I think they're the two people that we have leading that are, they're getting that done. And once we ramp that up, that's going to be extremely successful.
Nice, man.
So yeah, so we're
Well,
buying from that wholesaling company as well. But yeah, we buy from any
staying
any
busy.
source. Yeah, oh
I
yeah,
love it. I love it, man.
yeah,
Sounds like you're all about the hustle and you're all
yeah,
about the grind, Eric. But I know
yeah.
it wasn't always like that for you if we went way back in time.
Uh-huh.
You know, you weren't where you are today. Of course, everybody
Uh-huh.
starts somewhere. It's the whole premise of the show. So let's talk about your upbringing. First off, where
Yeah.
did you grow up?
I grew up in north of Quebec City, north
North
of
of.
Montreal,
Oh, so you're
and
from the
so
East Coast.
yeah, I am from the East Coast. Yeah. Oh
Nice.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Living in the snow, and I
Do,
got tired of the snow eventually, moved to California. But
do you speak French?
oh yeah, bien sûr.
I wish I could just start speaking French with you, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's cool. So you grew up in north of Quebec or Quebec City, you said, right?
Yeah,
Where is
yeah,
that
north
in
of Quebec
relation
City.
to Montreal? Is that far from?
Yeah, so it's about what's that, 5 hours from Montreal, where I grew up.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah,
Now let's talk about like your high school era.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
did you enjoy school? Did school come easy for you or?
yeah. Yeah, was pretty easy for me, but my experience of school seems to be completely different than everybody else I know. My journey through school was just an amazing experience. Elementary and high school were absolutely transformative years. Not because I studied geography and Latin and math, but it's just the teachers that I had were so supportive in everything I wanted to do. And that changed. I think that really made me who I am today. And I can give you some example. I mean, when I was in the fourth grade, this is the first really experience that I remember. Fourth grade, I had read a book. I think it was Lady and the Tramp from Disney. And then I talked to the teacher and I say, "Yeah, I read this book. I want to do a play." And then the teacher said, like, "What?" "Yeah, I want to do a play on that book. Can you help me?" And then she said, "Okay, yeah, sure." So we did the play on that book. And that, and in sixth grade, there was some other things that I noticed. And then I had to talk to the principal and say, "Oh, can I do this?" And he said, "Okay, yeah, sure, you can." Everything, every time I had a project, every time I wanted to do something, all I heard was yeses. I very rarely heard somebody say, "Oh, no, you can't do that." So that's my mentality, and that's how I view things, is that everything is a yes. I just have to find out, like, this is a great project. I have to find somebody that's going to support this and work out.
Mm.
In high school, this is the same thing too. Like, we created an investment club. I revived all kinds of different old project that had been abandoned, and then all of that. And all I heard is, yes, okay, yeah, you want to do that? Yeah, we'll help you. We'll give you some money. We'll give you some of this and all of that. So, so I was lucky. I was very lucky, and that really, that's kind of like how I'm seeing the world. I'm seeing the world in a very positive way, and I can do whatever I want. And it's just for me to put my mind to it and talk to the right people, and the world will support me. That's
Mm.
how I see it. So, and I know that's not how I know that a lot of people are struggling. They didn't have the luck that I have. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of my elementary and high school.
Mm.
When I went to junior college, it was a little bit different. It was a little bit more challenging and stuff like that. University was kind of boring to me. That's why I decided to buy an apartment building. Um, but yeah,
So let's talk about that, right? So you bought your
yeah,
first apartment building at 18 years old.
yeah,
Okay. So the average 18-year-old has
yeah,
no idea what they want to do.
yeah,
They're probably working at a shopping mall or a little side job making close to minimum wage,
yeah.
right? And they're focused on hanging out with their friends, partying it up, or playing video games all day. Not
Yeah,
necessarily income producing activities.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Or they're just going off to, university and they're going to go live the university life for a while. But
yeah.
you bought an apartment building at 18 years old. So how tell us the story on this, right? What led up to you buying that? How did you even think to buy a building? And how did you put the whole thing together?
So for me, like again, my parents were like 9 to 5 people, right? So very satisfied with their life and all of that, and no intention of doing anything different. I knew this was not the life for me. And then I go to university and I meet some friends, and I became very close to one of them. She brings me to her family, and her mother was a hairdresser, and then she started the furniture business on the side, and she had an apartment building, like a 36 unit apartment or 32 unit apartment building, that was generating money. She didn't have to work. She was just like, but she had her furniture store. She had her hair salon, and she was just kind of like floating around all these different businesses and enjoying life and traveling and all of that. Her father he was a mechanic. He had his own apartment building, I think like a 30 or 32 unit apartment building. He was completely living off of that, and at a lake. He had a house at a lake. He owned the lake, and he was just like living at the lake, and then that's it. That's pretty much it. He still has his mechanic shop and all of that, but yeah, that was their life. And then the other friend that was part of that I met there, that was the college teacher that had built his own 36 unit apartment building from scratch, and it was just like, this is new concept. I knew this existed, but now I'm in the middle of this. I am surrounded by these people, and I better, if I'm going to change my life, I better grab onto to their knowledge, learn as much as I can, and do whatever I can to do this, to make this happen. And that the college teacher basically agreed to mentor me and show me the way, like what, like, this is what you need to do. Okay, but this is what this, yeah, it's and this is what you need to do now. You need to go talk to find a realtor that's going to show you some buildings and stuff like that. And this is how you showed me the whole P&L for an apartment building, and how to calculate it and all of that, and how to find if it was a good investment or not. Interestingly enough, they don't teach you that necessarily at school, how to find a good investment versus a bad one. But anyway, so he explained that to me, and then, but he also supported me the whole way through this, because it's not that easy. I mean, I went to an 18-year-old, you go to your realtor and say, I want to buy an apartment building. Can you show me what you have? They're going to show you the door. They're going to show you some, whatever, but they're not going to show you apartment buildings. So it's going to take some convincing to get that done. But eventually I warmed up to the realtor, and he showed me some buildings, and I said, well, these are the numbers that I'm looking for. I want to have something that's going to be cash flowing and all of that. And he said, well, you can't, there's none of that. You can't find those. And he would show me buildings that, to prove his point, like it's human nature. I said, well, I told you that there's no apartment buildings that work that have these numbers. So he would show me the wrong apartment building. Eventually, I bothered him enough that he said, okay, why don't you look at these? In those days, there was no computer, so all the MLS listings were printed. So he gave me basically 4 binders full of MLS listing for the weekend. And I basically went through every one of them using kind of like the 1% rule. And then just, okay, this one. And I pulled out probably like 6 that I thought would work. And then I would show to my mentor, his name is Greg, and I'd say, okay, well, Greg, what do you think? And stuff like that. I said, yeah, this could work. This could work. This one, I think you can try it, but I don't think it's going to work for these reasons and stuff like that. So having a second pair of eyes that has experience to look at those was also something very helpful. And and eventually I put an offer on one of the properties, and talked to the owner and say, I need to have second mortgage or seller financing on that one. And he agreed to all of that, and the deal was signed.
Now, how much did you go on a contract for?
Oh, it was very little. I think it was like $100,000 or for the 8 unit.
A
So it
hundred
was not a,
thousand Canadian.
yeah, it was, yes, that's right. So it was not like a nice part of town,
So how
as
much?
you can imagine.
Oh, I mean, for $100,000, even in 2020, I'll buy. I don't care where it's.
It was
I
probably
mean,
a D class,
you could
D
probably
class kind
find
of
those in.
property.
You could probably find an 8 unit in Detroit for 100 grand. But
Yeah,
you might not want to
yeah,
go
yeah.
there though, Eric.
Probably
You
still,
might
yeah,
not
yeah.
you might not want to.
Yeah, you're never going to see your rent.
So okay, so adjusted for inflation and
Yeah.
doing the calculations from CAD to USD, how much would you have paid today?
Today, I would say maybe like 60,000. Yeah.
60,000 US dollars if you bought that
Yeah.
same 8 unit today.
Oh, if I was to buy the same 8 unit today, maybe, oh, I see. Maybe 180, 200,000 maybe
180
US
to
dollars if I was to
US.
buy it today. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
So you buy this 8 unit deal,
Yeah.
18 years old.
Yeah.
Now you're a landlord.
Yeah.
What do you do?
I'm living the life.
What do you do, right? People must be looking at you like, what the heck? How did Eric just do that? Like,
Yeah.
where do you go from there? Do you
Yeah.
start? Do you have to do renovations to it? Where was it occupied, or do you
There's
have to stabilize it? Like, tell us.
Yeah, everything was well, I didn't have money to do any of that. So it was for me it was just like just a cash flow. And it was also yeah, it was not really part of any grand plan to achieve financial freedom or anything like that. I was 18 years old. I had a lifetime ahead of me. So I was just kind of like, oh, I bought this and I'm making some money. I think I was making like $350 a month net cash flow. So I was pretty happy with that. And yeah, so to me that was also like to prove that hey, I could make some money without doing the 9 to 5. So that was critical for me in my thinking about that. So I learned a lot just doing the transaction. After that, I hadn't really thought about anything beyond that in terms of a grand plan for financial freedom. There was a little bit of repairs that were done. The one thing that I didn't do right in that particular transaction was that I didn't put property management in the deal. So I was the property manager. I was collecting the rent. I was getting the calls to fix the famous toilet and stuff like that. And I did have to fix a toilet. So
At least you know how to fix one. Because, man, I'll tell you, I never knew how expensive toilets can be
yeah,
when they break. You
yeah.
know, or the my least favorite is the sink. When the sink gets
Oh yeah.
clogged, oh my goodness, that's the landlord's
This is
nightmare.
for me, this is the worst job. Like the plumber, you not because of that, but because you're never in a good position. You're always under the sink. You're always upside down. You have things falling on your face and all of the water and all that.
This is
It's
true.
horrible. It,
This is
so for
true.
me, I don't like
Yeah,
it.
this is definitely true. You know,
But
but
thank God for the
we
plumber.
need them though.
That's
Hey,
absolutely
my plumber drives a nicer car than me. they
yeah,
they make good money, man.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so and to be clear here, Eric, so you
Yeah,
bought this property with owner financing, so you didn't have to go to the
yeah.
bank and get
Oh,
qualified
I
for a
did go.
mortgage.
I did have to go to the bank. So I had to go to the bank. I went to a couple of major banks, and they sent me away like right away. I said no, we don't finance that. And then I went to a credit union. I showed them the same numbers, and they say, oh yeah, that makes sense. And then we can help you. And then I had to write like a check for the app. So she said the loan officer basically said, oh yeah, I can present that to the board and all of that. You need to write me a check for $75 for the application fee, and then I'll present that to the board and I'll let you know if you get the loan. But I had only $125 in the bank. So I wrote my $75 check and I said, well, I better get it. Otherwise it's going to be like I'm gonna have to find somewhere else to eat or eat peanut butter for a couple of weeks.
And they approved you.
Yeah, they approved it. Yeah,
So
yeah,
so the terms of the deal? Because you mentioned seller financing.
yeah.
So what were the terms? How did you pay for this thing?
So basically, the credit union provided like 75 or 80% of the deal, and then so we went there, and then the seller agreed then to do the rest, so that there was a second mortgage on top of that to cover the rest of the fees. So it
Right.
was 100% finance.
100% finance, right? No
Yeah,
money out of
yeah.
pocket.
Yeah, right now it's very difficult to do that because the banks don't allow you to go for a second mortgage after that, or second lien position in the
And in
on
this
the
case,
property.
the credit union wasn't requiring any down payment from you?
No, well, there was I think when there was a little bit of a nod in because I was at the lawyer's office and sitting down and stuff like that. And then so the representative from the bank was there and present all the papers for me to sign, and then they kind of okay, so does the me, because I had to prove that I had the 20% down, and then the representative from the bank said, okay, well, does Eric Martel have the down payment? Does he have and then the lawyer and my realtor and the seller say, yeah, everything is good and stuff like that. I didn't have the money. I had $50 in the bank, as you know.
Right.
But they basically kind of like nod, yeah, let's just do the transaction. Then they signed the first. I signed the first mortgage on the assumption that I had the 20% down, and then the seller after that, I signed the second mortgage with the seller for the rest of the money.
Man, I'd love to see a picture of this building one day, just to, because I'm like kind of imagining it in my mind. You mentioned D class, so I'm assuming it was pretty grimy, but I don't know. I have this picture in my head versus what obviously reality. So
Yeah, well, just to tell you how bad it was, I got a phone call one day from the mother of my friend, and she said, "Hey, your building is on the news." And I said, "What? What do you mean?" And stuff like that. Yeah, it was shown on the news as an example of like slumlords or something like that.
that's hilarious. Wow.
So
So
yeah, so a proud slumlord.
now you don't own that building anymore, I assume.
No, I don't know.
Okay. So did you end up selling it later down the line?
I did, and I made a little bit of money, so that was good on the sale as well. So
Nice. Okay.
yeah.
So all right. University. Did you end up
Yeah.
graduating or did you
Oh
drop
yeah.
out? You
Yeah. I
graduated.
graduated as an actuary in actuarial science. So I studied basically all the math associated with financial risk, and I ended up getting a job in Toronto as an associate actuary, basically doing all kinds of calculations for insurance companies and pension plans.
Really?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so you studied the math behind finance, basically, is what you're saying.
That's exactly,
Okay.
yeah.
So then you would
Yeah.
already. So I.
Finance, but the financial risk as well. So
So
this is a little bit
so I
more
started. I
complex.
started taking a look at options. This is like just a little
Yeah,
side note. And
yeah,
one of the things that I don't understand, I need to like literally take a course for this, is
yeah,
the Greek language
yeah,
when you're looking at these options. And I'm sure that you already know exactly what I'm talking about.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, this is pretty intimidating stuff. But when talking like delta, theta,
yeah.
gamma, vega, like this is all the stuff that this stuff.
Well, see, again, they don't really teach you that at university. They don't teach you how to use that in an investment environment. Yeah, universities are basically teaching you to work for somebody else and then to do a job. Even when they trained me in actuarial science, I was trained to calculate interest and calculate reserving on pension plan and stuff like that. And so even interest, like this, we had a whole conversation, a whole course on theory of interest, and bonds and all these things, all these investment vehicle. And then recently, I read a book from Notes professor, and he was talking about how to use the formula about mortgage and stuff like that is very simple, right? So there's like the period, there's the term, there's the how often you do the what is that called? The compounding of the interest rate, and the principal amount, the premium amount, right? So in the future value. So you can look at all that. Very simple. There's not that many variables. But then I was trying to kind of like always do it this way because it was for an insurance company, or it was for a bank, or it was for a pension plan. But this guy, the Notes professor, was saying, okay, well, what you can do is you can do this. Instead of paying it, you can pay the same amount, but per month, but then kind of like adjust this instead of that, and then you'll be able to your return is going to be increasing by 25% more than what you were making before. And it was like, what? Yeah, now it's just kind of a mind blowing for me, because I'm supposed to be the expert on the theory of interest, and then this guy is really flipping the whole thing upside down and really applying the formula to achieve a completely different end. And it just, to me, that's mind blowing. I really like that.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
All right, so you graduate, you own this building.
Yep.
You're an entrepreneur technically, right?
Yeah.
What do you do next?
Well, so after graduating, I became an actuary, associate actuary, and then I started working in pension. And then basically every day I was converting what they call defined benefit pension plan, corporate pension plan. Where they say that you're going to make so much money at retirement, 2% of your final salary times the number of years of service or something like that, right? So they have a formula to tell you how much you're going to make every year in pension,
right?
Which is basically the benefit was defined. And then converting all these defined benefit pension plan into defined contribution, which is basically the 401ks, right? Where it's basically a savings account that's tax deferred.
Sure.
And then you as an employee have to figure out what you're going to get out of that when it's time for you to retire. So really shifting the risk from the employer to the employee in terms of the retirement and how much you're going to make for retirement. And that shift, all these shifts that happened a while back and are continuing to happen today, this is one of the reasons why we have so many people that are unable to retire, or they have to go back to work after retiring because they ran out of money. So it's all these reasons why we're seeing the problems that we're seeing right now and the challenges around retirement. So that's the big challenge. And so I was pretty disillusioned by that whole aspect of it, and I was pretty disillusioned by my job as well. So I actually quit that, and then I went into high tech. And this is actually one of the reasons why I wrote my book. It's going to be published actually by at the end of September, about stop trading your time for money, and really about start working on financial freedom and financial independence, as this should be your first goal. And then kind of like removing all the barriers that you in the book, I'm trying to remove all the barriers that you might have in order to achieve financial freedom.
I love it.
Yeah.
So you spent some time working.
Yep.
You quit.
Yep.
Did you start your first business after that? Like,
yep.
When did you get serious about, okay, I'm going to become a full-time real estate investor and build this out?
So that happened a little bit later. So actually, after I quit the actuarial field, I started my own independent consulting company. So I was doing that, and for a while. Then eventually I kind of like I scaled up, and then I wanted to do more like enterprise kind of projects. And then I joined a company. I was hired by a company in Toronto, and then I got transferred in California. I had a
Ah,
ton of stock options with that company, and and I was trying to figure out, okay, well, I want to diversify. I want to diversify, and then I was planning to invest in real estate. I was looking at real estate, and the numbers in California didn't make sense. I could have bought some apartment buildings, and I was saying, am I seeing, are the numbers okay? Like, what's going on? I real estate investors here, and they say, yeah, it's not a good place if you're looking for returns and cash flow and all of that. This is not a good place to do that. And they were telling me to go to Fresno or something like that, which is like 4 hours away from here in a very small town, pretty rural town. So I said, well, I'm not really interested in doing that, thinking that I would have to go there, at least on a monthly basis, to check the property and make sure everything was okay.
mm,
So I said, okay, well, I don't want to do that. So I moved. I started investing in the stock market, bought my own home, and said, okay, well, call it a day, and then we'll have to figure out something, another investment strategy. The dot com crash of 2001 basically wiped out a lot of my investments. I lost a lot of money that year, and that kind of reinforced my push or my drive to do to do passive income investment and focus on that. And something that I would control, right?
so you were invested into the stock market.
Yes, I
I'm
was. Yeah.
assuming into tech stocks.
Oh yeah, because I was in tech. I was in tech. Like
Right.
everything I was doing was in tech. So I was like, okay, this is great.
And then you ended up taking a huge hit.
Oh yeah.
So what happens? You wake up one day and you look at your. I mean, walk us through that. Like, what is that?
Well,
I've never
imagine you have
experienced that. So
yeah. Imagine you have a lot of money in the bank, and then you you get there, and then 80% of it is gone.
like
The next
that
day,
or over.
just like
Oh my
it
god.
was kind of it. Basically, I think it started like it was 70% gone, and then I kind of held on to it. I said, "Oh, no, I'm sure it's going to come back up. It's just like temporary," but it never really came back up.
Mm,
It actually kept going down after that, and I was just like, then I was okay. I have to do something else here, and
wow.
yeah,
That
yeah,
happened. Well, I didn't lose six figures, seven figures, but I took a beat down on Bitcoin 2017.
oh yeah, oh
I
boy,
bought I bought. I mean, we're five figures. I bought at 20K.
yeah,
I bought at the high. I was that idiot, and
uh-huh.
then it crashed all the way down.
Oh my
I
God.
looked at my account. I'm like, "Where's my money? It's gone. It's a fallen knife." Oh man.
So you know that feeling.
I know,
And
man.
the feeling that what I don't like is that I'm not in control. Like when I invest in the stock market, especially now, I mean, you look at the stock market, everything that's going wrong right now with the economy and all of that, and people not being able to pay their rent and not having a job. I mean, 10% unemployment, all of that. The stock market keeps going up, and it's
It doesn't
so,
make
it's
sense
this is
almost,
the
right? It's
why
weird.
exactly. I mean, if you think that the stock market is representative of the economy, which it is not, then then you're in trouble because you think, that you see the disconnect between the stock market and the economy here. But they
Right.
call like the Main Street versus Wall Street
Mm.
disconnect.
And if you
So
could,
anyway,
we're on
yeah,
Zoom, right? And look at what Zoom did yesterday. Just
yeah,
insane.
yeah,
Absolutely insane.
yeah.
Um, yeah.
So
So
I didn't like that. I didn't like the lack of control and understanding of yeah, just no control. I didn't know if the stock would go up or down,
right.
uh, and based on what. Uh, so,
So you
so I
shifted to
decided
real
to kind
estate.
of shift the control to me.
Mm.
And then I'd rather have a smaller business and then know what's going on than, invest in these big businesses. And then all of a sudden, 80% of my wealth is burned,
Mm.
is gone. So,
There's a lot more stability in the real estate world.
yeah.
You can
And
still
after
get
that, I
burned
mean,
too in real estate, but
oh yeah, you
yeah.
have to be careful. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've been pretty lucky, but yeah, I mean, I know some of our friends have been investing in real estate as well, but they had a different strategy. They wanted to invest in properties that they were wanted to Airbnb, or they were investing on doing flips in California, and then all of a sudden the days on the market expanded, and then they kind of lost money on their deals. So we know a lot of investors that have lost money on real estate in California, a place where they didn't think they would ever be able to lose money on these flips. But yeah, this is happening.
Mm. See, I invest down in Texas.
Yeah,
You invest in California. We're in two different
I don't invest
worlds.
in California.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
Oh no, I
Where?
invest.
Okay. So
I
you
invest
invest
in
in the.
Memphis.
Okay. Okay.
Memphis and Cleveland. Oh yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say we're in two
Because
different worlds here.
oh yeah. No, because I'm cash flow, just like your hat. I'm all about cash flow. So, and the deals here in California, if you want them to cash flow, I mean, you have to put a lot of cash in it, and
Mm.
then your return on investment is not very good. The typical return on investment here would be if like 1%, maybe 2% if you're lucky, uh, on your investment. So that's not very good. And the people that are the investors that are buying properties from us, they're getting 15 and 16% return on their investment, cash on cash returns. So, this is significantly different. They're positive cash flow. For $20,000 down, they make $3,000 in net cash flow a year. So,
Right.
it's pretty good.
Eric, we're gonna do a bit of a lightning round here.
Uh-oh.
I got
I'm
some
not good
questions.
at
I got some now,
that.
not ultra fast, but I got some questions for
Oh,
you.
okay, good.
So the first question is, what would you say your biggest challenges throughout your career? Like that one moment or event where the world is falling, you're freaking out, you're stressed, you're overwhelmed, and you just not happy. If you've ever
Yeah.
had one of those times.
Typically, I am pretty good at and interestingly enough, when that dot-com crash happened, either I was in denial or but it didn't matter that much to me. And That was not the biggest one. For me, the biggest issues is when I had a job and then they they fired me, and that was devastating because it was kind of personal on one hand, and on the other hand, again, I didn't have control of. Don't get me wrong, I'm not the perfect employee, uh, but as you know, sometimes entrepreneurs in general are not very good employees. But yeah, so that was probably a challenge that was a little bit different because it's the all of a sudden you don't have a job, and then you have to kind of get back on your feet at a time when you didn't expect it,
Mm.
right? So that's the thing. So I don't like surprises like that, and I don't like to be.
I hear you. Okay.
Yeah,
Second question. If you could go back in time to any point
yeah.
in your life, what is one thing that you would change and do differently?
Well, I think I would have taken my first real estate investment kind of like the next step. Take it more seriously and kind of like think about it and say, this is the thing. I've proven that I can do it. How do I scale up? Right? I
Mm.
mean, it's I've tried all kinds of different businesses, like I said, and like a gourmet sauce company and stuff like that, and try to make it happen and make it work, and all kinds of different the other businesses too. Like they were working, they were kind of breaking even, but they were not, it was not the formula. Like it was not making money. It was not something that I would want to scale up because it was not, the numbers didn't make sense to scale up. But real estate could have scaled up. And if I was to go back there, this is when I would have said, okay, yeah, I found a winning formula here. Let's do that again. Let's find another one. And then tweak that model and adapt and then continue on that track. So that's kind of what I missed.
Third question is, how do you stay motivated day in and day out?
Yeah. To me, that's a good question. But I am pretty motivated the whole time. I'm never have, and I don't know why, but I kind of every day, like I have a kind of a daily practice. I mean, you mentioned the running on the beach and swimming in the ocean every morning, or I do yoga or something like that. But it's really thinking about, okay, what am I going to do today that's going to advance my goal? I put me towards my goal. So every day it's having a daily practice and always kind of like looking at that and staying focused. And what's the next step? What's the next step?
Awesome.
So a lot of people are thinking too far ahead and all of that, and they kind of they get discouraged. So I'm thinking, okay, what can I do today to get a little further?
I love it. All right, next is going to be. Get ready for this one.
I can tell it's a tricky one.
Tomorrow, you wake up.
Yeah.
It's all gone. Everything's gone. You lose it all.
Yeah.
What do you do? What's the next step for you in 2020, like our current world, to get it all back?
Yeah. Well, I would redo exactly what we're doing. And the funny thing is that, we do real estate business and we have like apartment buildings and stuff like that. But these things are not assets. I mean, they are assets, but this is not what we've built really. What we've built is.
Eric. Hey guys, looks like we lost Eric for a minute. Are we back? Yeah. Okay, all right, we're back. Okay. I lost you first.
Say that again?
Yes, please. We lost connection for a second.
Yeah.
Zoom stock just went down 10%.
Yeah. So I would say that for me, like even though we're in the real estate business, we have apartment buildings and all of that. These are all assets, like from an accounting perspective, but this is not what we've built with our company. What we've built is a network of investors and network of people that are trusting us with their money, that are trusting us with their investments. And even if we were to lose it all today or tomorrow, we would be able to rebuild it, better and faster than we've done so far.
Love it. Awesome. So you do the same thing, same business model.
I think so, because if you have a formula that works, right? I mean, I see a lot of people, they say, that works, but I didn't make that much money. Well, scale it up. You found a formula that works, keep at it, and then scale it up. Instead of switching to a completely different business model and then, finding yourself, this one doesn't work. And then, you switch to, the real estate world is vast and expanding. So, there's so many different types of opportunities. You're going to get lost and you're going to lose focus and you won't reach your goal ever if you do that.
Awesome. What's your favorite book? All time.
A favorite book, I think Rich Dad, Poor Dad, because I think for me, it was, this was a book that I had my Rich Dad, Poor Dad moment, I feel, when I met with my mentor and all of that. That was kind of like my poor dad was the 9-to-5 and he was the rich dad, even though he was not that rich, but he had something about that he knew that my parents didn't know. So that was my Rich Dad, Poor Dad moment. So I can relate to that, definitely.
Cash flow. I love it. The 4 quadrants, right? That's
Yeah,
it.
that's right.
Kiyosaki, legend.
Yeah.
Okay, so favorite book is Rich Dad Poor Dad. Now, what is one of your biggest pet peeves?
Pet peeves. I think it's people wasting my time, their time, uncertainty, not knowing what, hesitation, that kind of stuff. I think I know what it's like. I know that, but I don't know how to explain it. But it's kind of like, you have all the numbers in front of you. You know that this is the right decision. So let's go for it. So that hesitation, and I don't know if it's a pet peeve necessarily, but this is something that I'm a very logical person. I have a math background, so I'm looking at all this in a lot of it in mathematical terms, and so I'm thinking, hey, the numbers make sense.
Mm.
It's kind of like when we sold our house. We used to own a house in the Bay Area, and then we had this business, and I couldn't unlock the equity in it. And I look at the numbers and stuff like that. I said, well, we should just sell the house, get that. We'd be making that much money. We can rent another house, and we'd be great, in excellent shape. So we should do that. Took me a while to convince my wife to do that, but we did it. We sold our house, and my God, it made an unbelievable difference in our ability to expand our business and scale our business and what we do today. So it's just phenomenal.
Awesome.
The numbers were there.
Eric, people have been tuned in for the last hour. They're inspired. Yep. They heard your story. They want to go out and start shopping their first apartment building or buy maybe a turnkey property from you. You know, what's your message really to the Started Somewhere community, the entrepreneur, the person that's dreaming of greatness for themselves?
Yeah. I think you have to, the obvious thing is kind of like your goal. And I think everybody's goal, the number one goal should be financial freedom. That is key. So you have to focus on that, and until you achieve it, I don't think you should be focusing on too many other things, unless you rely on other people to take care of you when you get older. But financial freedom is inevitable, and it also provides financial security. And then with the way the retirement system is going right now, you're going to need to take care of yourself, it's almost certainly. So that's my first thing. And then the next thing is to find a strategy that's going to help you achieve that. And you have to look at how much time you have to devote to that strategy, to execute that strategy, who can help you do that, how much money you need, and all of that. The best way, in my opinion, is turnkey rentals. And that's how I got started, and that's how a lot of people got started. And we're helping investors every day do that, and we know it's working. So that's the easiest way. There are other ways. I'm not saying that's the only way, but it's definitely a very good way to get started. And once you have that, I know that people want to have like apartment building, and I want to rent a helicopter for a living and stuff like that. Focus on the financial freedom first, and then after that you can go and do these things. Once you have your time back, then you can do all these exotic things you wanted to do. So that's my thing.
What's one of the exotic things that you would do, Eric?
For me, like I would think kind of like resort. I was thinking more like a resort kind of areas and stuff like that. So I would like that, a hotel in some kind of nice location. So it'd be something that would be of interest to me. Yeah. Again, it's kind of like
to own one.
Yeah, to own one. Yeah.
Hey, when you buy it, Eric, you better remember me.
Yeah, no problem.
Oh man,
my wife was also in the hotel business for a while, so.
Oh, awesome! There you go. Yeah. What's your favorite destination in the world?
Well, really I like Europe. Europe is always a great location with the history and all of that. Rome was absolutely fantastic. Barcelona, Paris, obviously. But also in Mexico, somewhere a little closer, like Cabo San Lucas is some of the areas are pretty good, or a little bit lower on the peninsula. It's also good. Tulum is also very good. Really liked it
Mm,
there. Costa Rica is also always one of my favorite there. Nice, clean, safe, and so many different, kind of like Mexico, so many different uh, system, ecological systems and weather systems. So that's always very interesting.
mm.
So
Awesome,
yeah,
man.
yeah,
Well, Eric, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show.
yeah,
Love your story. Super inspiring. I'm about to get on LoopNet right now and start looking for some apartment buildings. My man.
yeah.
So I want to thank you so much for sharing, and
Uh-huh.
it's a pleasure. Do you have any a website or some socials or anything that you'd like us to link in
Yeah.
the show notes? Just please feel free to share with
So
the listeners.
yeah, so I think on Instagram, I think you have my it's a E_Martel on Instagram. So that's a great way to connect with me. I also have a website, marteleric.com, where you can see my YouTube channel and you can see everything else that I'm doing. I have a book that's going to come out, I mentioned, at the end of September. And it talks a lot about these goal strategy alignment, lots of tools, lessons about money that we're not taught in school, limiting belief system, and step by step how to achieve financial freedom. Uh, it's going to be published in September, but if you want it for free, so your listeners can go to marteleric.com/book, and then they can enter their name and email address. It's going to be only used for the book. And then once the book is launched on Amazon, I'll send everybody an email, and then you can get the book for free at that point.
It's a great offer. All right. We'll
I
link that
think
in the
so.
show notes, and I look forward to reading your book, of course. And
Yeah.
Eric, man, you enjoy the week.
Thank you,
Thank you
Ross.
so much. Talk soon.
Talk to you later.